They started using violence and torturing him and his followers to suppress his mission. Even so, the number of the Prophet's followers kept increasing. Everyone who said, "Ashhadu an la ilaha illa Allah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasul Allah," joined Islam. This religion, which focused on submitting and surrendering to Allah's will, brought great tension and hostility in Mecca because of daily conflicts and rising pressure. But the believers did not give up. They did not step back from their faith despite torture, threats, or being excluded. Even then, Allah was always with the Prophet and the believers. Through revelation, Allah told the Prophet what to do. In many difficulties the Prophet faced, Allah was with him through wahi, giving hope and strength to the believers and teaching them how to act. The verses were not just for them, but for the whole ummah of Muhammad. They came not only for Muslims, but also for all humanity, and they ruled over all times beyond their own age. This message would begin to turn a divided and often unjust society into a united, moral, and spiritually enlightened ummah. Today, thousands of intellectuals, scholars, artists, and advanced societies cannot fully rehabilitate deviant groups of people. Yet in those days, with very limited means, under pain, torture, and even threats of death, a small group of people, with the help of Allah, managed to morally reform an entire nation and region, even teaching the most ignorant people about cleanliness and every aspect of human life in just 23 years, transforming the whole society completely. This alone was a great miracle, one of the greatest miracles of the Qur'an and of Allah. The miracle of the Qur'an's preservation. The preservation of the Qur'an is one of the most remarkable aspects of its history. It shows both the deep devotion of the first Muslim community and the divine promise of Allah. From the very beginning, the Qur'an was kept safe both orally and in writing. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ gave great importance to memorizing the Qur'an and encouraged his companions to keep the verses in their hearts. This tradition of hifz, memorization, started during his life and continued without interruption through generations. Leading companions like Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman and Ali radiallahu anhum were among those who memorized the whole Qur'an. Besides memorization, the Qur'an was also written down as it was revealed. The Prophet ﷺ assigned a group of scribes to record the revelations. These scribes wrote the text on the materials available at the time: palm leaves, flat stones, pieces of leather and bones. Whenever a revelation came, the Prophet ﷺ dictated the verses and also told them where to place each verse in its surah. This careful attention ensured that each verse was recorded correctly and arranged according to divine instruction. The companions also compared their written records with each other and directly with the Prophet ﷺ to confirm their accuracy. This verification process guaranteed that no errors entered the text. Every year in Ramadan, the Prophet ﷺ would recite the entire Qur'an to Jibril alayhi salam, which strengthened its accuracy and consistency. In the last year of his life, he recited it to Jibril alayhi salam twice. This confirmed the Qur'an's complete and perfect arrangement as we have it today. After the Prophet ﷺ passed away, the need to collect the Qur'an into one book became clear. During the caliphate of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, many memorizers of the Qur'an were martyred in the Battle of Yamama, which created a critical moment. Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu feared that the Qur'an might be lost, so he suggested to Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu that it should be gathered into a single mushaf, book. At first hesitant, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu finally understood the importance of this work for future generations and agreed. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu gave this great task to Zayd ibn Thabit, radiallahu anhu, one of the main scribes of the Prophet. Zayd, known for his unique knowledge and care in memorization, took on this duty with great diligence. He collected the written pieces held by different companions and compared them with the memorized versions. Zayd's careful work ensured that every verse was confirmed and verified from multiple sources. The result was a mushaf called a sahifa, which was kept under the protection of Abu Bakr, radiallahu anhu. It was later passed to Umar, radiallahu anhu, and after Umar's death, it was entrusted to his daughter Hafsa, radiallahu anha. Hafsa, radiallahu anha, was also one of those who had memorized the entire Qur'an. This first mushaf became the foundation for later standardization efforts. During the caliphate of Uthman ibn Affan, radiallahu anhu, Islam spread quickly, and new Muslim communities in different regions spoke different dialects and languages. This caused differences in the recitation of the Qur'an and confusion among the people. Seeing this potential conflict, Uthman, radiallahu anhu, took a decisive step to protect the unity of the Muslim Ummah. He ordered that standard mushafs be prepared based on the sahifa kept by Hafsa, radiallahu anha. Uthman, radiallahu anhu, formed a committee under the leadership of Zayd ibn Thabit, radiallahu anhu, who had previously compiled the Qur'an. Zayd, known for his deep knowledge and care, worked with other trusted companions who were experts in Qur'an recitation and writing. The task of the committee was to prepare a standard mushaf according to the Quraysh dialect, because the Qur'an had been revealed in that dialect, and it was important to preserve the original language taught by the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The committee carefully checked every word and letter. They consulted the Hufaz, those who had memorized the Qur'an, to make sure the written text matched the oral tradition exactly. When the standardized mushaf was completed, Uthman, radiallahu anhu, ordered that copies be made and sent to major Islamic centers like Mecca, Medina, Basra, Kufa, and Sham. He also ordered that all other unofficial copies and fragments be destroyed to prevent confusion and disagreement. This decisive step by Uthman, radiallahu anhu, not only preserved the authentic Qur'an, but also ensured its consistency throughout the growing Muslim world. The Uthmani Mushaf remained the final and definitive version of the Qur'an, and all later copies were written based on it. To this day, the Qur'an has been preserved without any change. This is proof of Allah's divine promise, "Inna nahnu nazalna ad-dhikr wa inna lahu la hafizun." Indeed, it is we who sent down the reminder, Qur'an, and indeed, we will protect it. Surah Al-Hijr 15:9. The preservation of the Qur'an is unique in human history. While other holy books have been changed, added to, or lost over time, the Qur'an has remained exactly as it was revealed to the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The oral tradition of memorization also played a critical role in its preservation. Throughout history, thousands of Muslims dedicated their lives to memorizing the Qur'an, passing it on through an unbroken chain of recitation from generation to generation. This extraordinary tradition, combined with the written text, has kept the Qur'an in its original form for over 1400 years. Even today, millions of people have memorized the Qur'an and earned the title of Hafiz. There is no other book on earth, past or present, that has been memorized to this extent. This is another miracle of the Qur'an. Neither the Injil nor the Zabur nor the Taurat have ever been memorized and recited this widely. And today, all the Qur'ans in the world are exactly the same. Every word and every sentence accepted unanimously by all Muslims. From Indonesia to Turkey, from India and Pakistan to the UK and America, wherever you go, the Qur'an remains the same and will always remain the same. A miracle. Even books written today can have mistakes, But the fact that a book revealed 1400 years ago is preserved perfectly in this miraculous way shows that it is under the protection of Allah. 10 scientific miracles of the Qur'an. Let's now look at 10 scientific miracles where the Qur'an mentioned facts 1,400 years ago that humans had not yet discovered. These examples include knowledge so deep that people at that time, with no advanced tools or science, could not have known them. 1. The beginning of the universe. Big Bang. In Surah Anbiya, verse 30, it says, "Do those who disbelieve not see that the heavens and the earth were joined together, then we separated them?" This verse tells us that the universe was once a single whole and then was split apart. Modern science discovered this truth in the early 20th century with the Big Bang theory, which proved the universe began about 13.8 billion years ago from an extremely hot, dense point and started expanding. For a society with no telescopes or knowledge of cosmology, knowing this 1,400 years ago was impossible. People of that time believed the sky was fixed and unchanging, but the Qur'an pointed far beyond their scientific understanding. The expansion of the universe. In Surah Dhariyat, verse 47, it says, "We built the heaven with power and we are expanding it." The fact that the universe is expanding was discovered by Edwin Hubble in 1929 when he observed distant galaxies moving away from us. This became one of the foundations of modern cosmology. The Quran's words, "We are expanding it," describe something no one in the 7th century could imagine. At that time, people thought of the sky as a dome full of fixed stars. This fact was only confirmed through powerful telescopes. 3. The end of the universe. Big Crunch. In Surah Anbiya, verse 104, it says, "We will roll up the heaven like the rolling up of a scroll of books." As we began the first creation, we will repeat it. This suggests that one day the expansion of the universe will stop and it will collapse back on itself. In modern cosmology, this is called the Big Crunch hypothesis, the idea that gravity will one day overpower expansion and pull all matter back into one point. Scientists still debate how the universe will end, but this remains a serious theory. The Qur'an describing the universe as dynamic, with a beginning and an end, is striking. The atmosphere as a protective shield. In Surah Anbiya, verse 32, it says, "We made the sky a protected roof." Today we know the Earth's atmosphere acts as a vital shield for life. The ozone layer blocks harmful ultraviolet rays from the sun. The atmosphere also causes meteors to burn up before reaching the ground. Electromagnetic belts, Van Allen belts, deflect charged particles from the sun. In the 7th century, people thought the sky was just a dome with stars, but now we know the atmosphere is a life-saving shield. The Quran's words about a protected roof are a scientific miracle revealed long before modern physics and space exploration. 5. Iron came from space. In Surah Hadid, verse 25, it says, "We sent down iron, in which is great strength and benefits for people." Iron is not one of the light elements formed during the early universe. Scientists discovered that iron can only form in the cores of massive stars and is spread through space when these stars explode as supernovae. This means the iron on Earth actually came from space, not from Earth itself. In the 7th century, people thought iron was just a common metal dug from the ground. The Qur'an's phrase, "we sent down," perfectly matches modern scientific facts. 6. Separation of saltwater and freshwater, 2 seas. In Surah Rahman, verses 55:19-20, it says, "He has released the 2 seas, meeting side by side. Between them is a barrier so that they do not mix." Today, oceanography shows us that in some places, 2 bodies of water flow side by side without mixing. For example, at the Strait of Gibraltar, where the Atlantic Ocean meets the Mediterranean Sea. These waters have different salinity and temperatures and are separated by a thin layer called a halocline, which acts like an invisible curtain due to density differences.